the most liberating mindset you will ever have is the thought that it's not my responsibility. Like, it's not your responsibility to correct people's lack of vision. It's not your responsibility to show people what you're worth. It's not your responsibility to change people's perception of you, because the truth is that they're going to see things how they perceive them. They're not your responsibility to shift. And I think sometimes we get so fixated on what people think about us or how they treat us or what they say to us that we think that we have to change ourselves to accommodate them. The truth is that you need to accommodate the presence and access they have to you, because there are some people that are never going to change. And our job is not to convince them. Your job is not to make them see what's there. Your job is not to make them believe what you offer, what you have. Your job is to believe you. Your job is to cut ties with people that aren't feeding you. And we get so fixated on this because sometimes we think that it becomes our job. We think that it's our responsibility. We think that it falls on us to correct or mend the relationship that's there, when the truth is that it's not. You have to stop feeding into wells that keep pulling you dry. A lot of times we tie this to our self-worth. We think that if I am not loved, or if I'm not approved by everybody, or if people don't see me the same way that I desire them to see me, then I'm not worth being loved, or I'm not worth being liked, or I have to make sure that this person sees me this way. I need you to get into that mindset that it's not your responsibility. It's not your job to make people see what they choose to ignore. Too many times we get so wrapped up in that. And I think that's become a cultural norm for us because it's so easy. It becomes so much easier to let the river drag you instead of walking against the current. It's a complacent mindset because, again, it becomes so easy to just let things take you. It becomes so redundant for us to make any type of effort knowing that we're going to accept whatever they give us. And we have to shift that mindset, because at the end of the day, at the end of your life, what's going to happen is that you're going to look back and regret the fact that you never stood up for you. You're going to regret the fact that you let people continue to bully you or manipulate you or convince you of otherwise that you should have been in something that you weren't. It's okay. It's okay to not have people like you. And I think this is another thing that we fall so short at, that we think that every person needs to like us. They don't have to like you. It's not your job to make them like you. It's not your responsibility to convince people of your worth. There are some people in your life that just flat out are just not going to be drawn towards you. And that's okay. It's okay for them to navigate and pull away from you, because that's just where they are. Your job is to embrace and love the people that choose to stay around you, the people that choose to be in your presence, the people that are choosing you. Those are the people that you need to choose. At the end of the day, at the end of your life, when this is all said and done, the people that you had to force to love you or to like you or to pick you or to see you differently, those are the people that you're going to hate the most, because they've drained you and they pulled you away from who you fully were. And the people that love you and the people that want the best for you, these are the people that are going to feed into you. They're going to give you everything you need and desire, because their love for you has nothing to do with what you give them. It has everything to do with what they desire to give you. But if you keep trying to change the minds of people that don't care about you, if you keep making their perception of you your responsibility, then you're going to keep falling short. You're going to keep falling into that rut. Sometimes we allow people to envision us or categorize us through the lens of their traumas. We allow them to see things in us and say things about us because it's easier to just accept it than it is to confront it. But what you continue to accept will always be what you continue to get. If it's the bare minimum, if it's the absolute nothingness that you're offered, then that's what you're always going to be offered. Some people are going to see the fact that you are easy to manipulate, you're easy to give into, you're easy to use in that, and they're going to continue to walk over you because you haven't declared boundaries, you haven't declared a stop in this. You've made it your responsibility to make them love you or like you or approve of you. And what happens is subconsciously we think that this comes through us letting them do whatever they want. It comes to us not valuing ourselves. It comes to us not standing up for ourselves. It's not your responsibility to make people understand something that they choose not to understand. And it's going to suck. I know that it's not easy to look at people we want in our lives and say, oh, I'm finally cutting you out. It's not easy to look at these people and say, I no longer want to keep giving the maximum to your bare minimum. It's not easy to look at somebody and say, look, I desired so much from you, but you chose the opposite of me. And it's not easy to continue to make everything your responsibility. At some point, you have to decide, this isn't worth staying in. This isn't worth fighting for, because you're the only one fighting. The ship is sinking and you're the only one trying to throw water out of it. At some point, you just gotta let it sink. It's not your responsibility to change anyone's mind.